How do you make a status update like this and not have it sound like some sort of LinkedIn grind set bullshit? I've been trying to redraft this video, trying to do it scripted, testing it unscripted, and so far I don't really know what's cringe and what's not. So we'll just do it unscripted like this. It's been a couple of years since I last uploaded a song, and it was called Flickering Waning Moon. It was made in collaboration with London-based Daniel McPhee. I liked his mix alteration edit more than my original version, and so that was the one that got published. At the time, I thought that it was meant to be some sort of artistic direction for myself, a little bit more ambient, more textural, and while that might have been the case back then, at the end of 2023, I got kind of busy trying to find more work. The contract that I was in at the time was coming to a natural close, just the nature of the project, and I was then burning through my savings to stay afloat. I decided that I would switch to being more hyper-local, real-world, because I'd spent the past couple of years before that effectively working entirely remotely, and I found that a profoundly isolating experience in the long term, not very sustainable. Now, I still do a lot of remote work, and even for some of the same people, and this isn't a criticism of them or their working requirements or anything like that. I think being able to work from home and work from my own little office space is quite useful. But I'm not entirely introverted, and so I do need social connections. This has led me to taking on a role as the Friends of St. Felix Park Outdoor Classroom Coordinator. And that's kind of been my last 12 months, almost, trying to build up a network of environmental activists and earth sciences and all that kind of stuff to bring educational opportunities to my local community. Unfortunately, this has left my creative energy being used almost exclusively on that stuff, the work that I'm doing for basically everybody else. And my own projects have been a little bit pushed to the wayside. This is something that I'm hoping to fix over the next couple of months, because if I can't reboot my social life, and that has been a near enough dismal failure for anything that's not work, then the least I can do is actually progress on my own creative endeavors. I don't anticipate having a new album out anytime soon. I was kind of hoping that this year would be the year that I would produce another one. It's not likely because I don't want to put myself through that kind of stress. The idea of forced creative deadlines, sometimes it can be good and healthy, and other times when I'm already facing deadlines in basically everything else I do, I feel like doing the same thing to what is meant to be my passion project would be counterproductive. The other thing that I have decided based on the things I'm listening to, I will leave a link to the playlist for some of my favorite highlights for discoveries for this year down below, and just the things I've tried to make, that forcing a happy pop vibe is not going to be the direction for this project either. And believe me, I tried. I really would love to just be all optimistic and happy and hopeful and express some sort of joy in my music, but part of it comes out sounding cringe, and that's probably a skill issue. The other thing is I don't really feel it reflects my actual mood. And music for me has always been a cathartic outlet of some sort. I don't feel the same things I made when making Aerostasis, which was very focused on my sense of moving on from a period in my life where I was almost in a constant state of anxiety. My university degree was intense, and that Aerostasis kind of reflects that. Learning to recognize that the way other people were defining me at the time with things like my grades and my retail job, that the idea that that doesn't define me was kind of a big theme of that release. I was hoping that, you do a dark and moody album of some sort, that you'd then be able to experience some sort of inverted theme, I suppose. And, well, I've got entirely new baggage to deconstruct. The world is in a weird place right now, and it affects me. While I'm doing very positive work with the Friends of St. Felix Park as this outdoor classroom coordinator, I am also acting in a volunteer capacity for the campaign and advocacy of protecting the park, which is at threat of industrialization from corporate interests in Aberdeen. And this is just one of numerous examples in Scotland, in the UK, globally, where ordinary people are being ignored, ordinary people's interests are being trampled on. And it gets to me. I feel like my music is one of the few safe places I can express my frustrations, my fears, the general depression mode state I get into sometimes. So if I'm not making happy music, I shouldn't try and force it. I should just accept that it's not coming, and that's fine. So this is a general channel update, and while I do plan on getting back into posting about this music I want to work on, what I'm working on, I will also be working on some videos that encourage me to continue getting out and about, condensing all the educational resources that I've been gathering for myself over the past 12 months, where I'm actually learning a lot about how parks are managed and how green spaces are so important to the vibrancy and life of a city. And Aberdeen has a lot of that stuff going for it, but we have a council that doesn't recognise it and doesn't place the value in it. So I've decided I'm taking it upon myself to celebrate those things, to point out where certain areas of the city are being ignored or omitted from public resource and information. In other news, I'm also working with Matt Black from Cold Cut on his piratetv.net live streaming channel. So you may see me in the chats there, and I'm currently testing some new editing styles in order to make that pop. And I will continue to try my best to support those folks who are using the Jam Pro software. It's a bit tricky managing everything in that regard, and some of the bugs I keep being reported are like, eh. But there is more to come, and I hope that you will stick with me. This was Nathaniel Wyvern, signing off.